Hip-hop wave started in the late 70s, early 80s, and it became a new language for people who wanted to say something about their society, about the community, about politics and problems in day-to-day life. Hip-hop became a lifestyle, it became a culture, and became a voice for the young people. In the beginning, nobody took it serious. Everybody thought this genre will never survive in the music industry. But with hip-hop acts like Run DMC, Public Enemy, Salt and Pepper, Eric B and Rakim, Beastie Boys, everything started to change. Especially when NWA came to the scene. They have revolutionized gangster rap and mainstream. Rap and hip-hop started to become the thing in the music industry. It was not just a black thing. Everybody started to love it. White folks, black folks, because the music was based on the reality of people's life. So the thing with hip-hop was there were no boundaries. And that's what the media often hated. They were glorifying guns and killing people, disrespecting women in their songs, attacking police, politicians and communities through their music. Grown people did not like the music. Young people loved it. While hip-hop was getting bigger and bigger and more commercial and marketable, there were some people who loved hip-hop but they were not connected to the message. So they tried to create a new movement and put God's message into their music, but with hip-hop. Positive messages, biblical messages, messages from Jesus. They wanted to be the opposite of a gangster rapper. One of the pioneers in this genre became later the successful hip-hop duo Grits. The group consists of Taron David Bonafide Carter and Stacey Bernard Coffee Jones. They met each other the first time in 1990 and they became background dancers for the group DC Talk. In 1995 they decided to form a group with the name Grits in Nashville, Tennessee. The name Grits is the definition of grammatical revolution in the spirit. The Christian hip-hop group DC Talk had a lot of success during their run in the music industry. One of the members, Toby Mac, decided in the midst of the 90s to create his own music label, Gotee Records. He wanted to sign different artists from different genres. He wanted to create fresh new music for the new generation, to share God's message with the new next generation through his own artists. So the first artist he signed was the talented sister trio Out of Eden. Shortly after them, he signed Grits. Grits were always inspired by the group DC Talk, so it made sense for them to sign the deal with Toby Mac. The group released 8 albums, 2 EPs and a remix album through Gotee Records. Their first album came out in 1999 with the title Mental Releases, with the single Set Your Mind at Easy. Album and single did not chart, but they started to gain some fans and people started to love them in the underground scene. The second album came out in 1998 with the title Factors of the Seven, with the singles What Been Going Down, Alcoholic Plagiarism, and the last single of the album Hopes and Dreams. With the second album they couldn't chart either, even the singles did not chart, but they were motivated to continue and not to give up, and the label did not give up on them either, because they believed in them and they stood 100% behind them. Something that we don't have in this today world, because every label expect you to do big numbers right after they sign you. Some people can say they failed with their first 2 albums, but I don't think it is so. They gained a lot of fans, they were touring, had a lot of performances, and they were doing good for independent artists. Mainstream did not support them because they were an independent label, because they were singing Christian music, and because radio support always music with sex, drugs and alcohol. And that was the absolutely opposite. It was not bad, because production was on point, the musicians were on point, and they were at the same level with a lot of musicians out there on the mainstream. But again, because they were under the Christian category, they didn't want to give them a chance. So they continued to build their craft, to become better, to build a fan base, and to feed the fans with new messages and new music. In 1999 they released their 3rd album, Grammatical Revolution. It charted on number 39 on the US Christian charts. That was the first chart placement they got. They released 1 single for the album, They All Fall Down.
The ins and outs of this business, all with my morals, things I say seem pretentious, show change, I ain't deranged to be looked upon strange, like the dames in the verb joint. Shoot, we the fact, you ain't no near, rally all my troops in G.I. Joe gear, arsenals and weapons abundant, stop me if I sound redundant. Sound redundant, man, please appease me, repeat yourself. Most folks scared of the truth, living lies, fooling themselves and everyone surrounding, deception of perception, blind to what self did, deep down beyond the black hole of the soul in control. To the naked, untrained eye, who can't see time fly by, revolving on the carousel, living life, a modern day fairy tale slow mo. Urgent message gets a no go. What?
After the third album, they took a little bit more time to record the fourth album. The fourth album was released in 2002 with the title The Art of a Translation. They charted with the album in the Christian charts on number 16, and they released singles Here We Go and their most successful platinum song Ooh Ah. That song became their first crossover song, and it was featured in soundtracks like Tokyo Drift from Fast and the Furious. It became a title song for different MTV shows. It became also a song on the Big Mama soundtrack Part 2, and that helped them to gain this mainstream success.
Express, so the sounds of ooh ah beneath my breath. Times like these that make me say, yeah, Lord, if you see me, please come out.
From there on, they started to get more opportunities even in mainstream events, and people started to notice them who didn't know them before. And that's a perfect life lesson in life. We live in a day where people want fast success, because the conception of success in these days are you record one song, one video, and you blew up on the next day on TikTok, Instagram, and become a mega star. But the reality is, it's not like that. You have to fall, because that's the life lesson which will teach you to learn more about life, to appreciate things more and to work harder. And that's what they did. They understood it. Most of the musicians today would give up after the first two albums, but they knew that God put something bigger in them, so they kept moving and they worked harder. After the success of the fourth album, they started to work on the fifth album. They released the fifth album in 2004 with the title Dichotomy A. In the same year, they released their sixth album, Dichotomy B. Both albums charted on the US Christian charts and the US Heated charts. In 2006, they released their seventh album with the title 7. In the same year, they released another album with the title Redemption. That was the last album they released under the label Gotee. After that, they parted ways with the label. They said it was like a graduation because they spent so much time with the label and they learned a lot during that time. So after that, they started their own label, Revolution Art. During 2008 until 2017, they released 3 albums: Reiterate, Quarantine, Saints, and Sinner. Also, the song Tennessee Boys became the intro song for the show Pimp My Ride. The song Ooh Ah opened a lot of doors for them. They was not able to recreate a song like that again, but they paved the way for Christian hip-hop. And they are one of the reasons why Christian hip-hop is getting more popular. They opened doors for people like Lecrae, Andy Mineo, and couple others. They still a group from what I hear, and they still record music here and there, but they are not that active anymore. I hope you liked the video, and yes, leave me a thumb up, leave me a comment under the comment section, subscribe to miss not any other videos, and if you want to know what happened to the label mates of the Grits out of Eden, then click now on the next video and watch it. We see each other next time. Bye.